Hey guys, we're back on the couch for another episode of Therapy Thursdays. And today I'm going to be delving into how to make more effective food choices when in recovery from an eating disorder or disordered eating, because this is a biggie. And I remember when I was going through my eating disorder, I could spend up to an hour trying to figure out what the hell to eat. And this was hugely stressful. I had so much fear, so much anxiety, so much panic when it came to making food choices that often it all would just feel too much and I would end up just sticking to what felt safe and familiar, even though I knew it wasn't the right choice for me. And then I would beat myself up for not being able to make the right decision and not being able to follow through on what I said I would do. And this was just a continuous circle that I was trapped in for a long, long time. And I hear this a lot with my clients. You know, they tell me, I know what I need to do. I know which is the healthier choice and which would best serve me. But for some reason, I just can't quite seem to follow through on it and take action. And the way I best explain this is that within you, when you're going through an eating disorder, there are two parts to you. So we've got your eating disorder part and your true self part. Now, your true self is the part of you that wants to recover. So if you're watching this video, you may well have decided that something needs to change and that you want to get better and want to recover. So that is this part of you, the part of you that wants you to recover. So what can happen around food is that this true self part, the part of you that wants to get better, will say, I know that we need to make this decision around food. We need to pick this healthy option. However, we've also got the eating disorder part. And this part can actually step in with a counter argument. And then what can happen is you get into this battle with both parts trying to outdo each other and shout over one another. This part's pulling you one way and then the eating disorder is pulling you another way, and in the end it all just feels too much, and then you just say, I can't do this and I'm going to just stick to what I know. And then the eating disorder part wins. I wonder how, if that resonates with any of you, because it certainly did with me. And the problem is, once you get into that battle, often the eating disorder part of you has more strength, more power, more control, so it will win over your true self part. Pretty much in the majority of the time. So what we want to be doing when we're making choices around food is to try and avoid the two parts battling with one another. And the longer the period of time without making a decision around food, the longer you deliberate, the bigger the battle comes, and the more likely it is that the eating disorder part of you is going to win. Okay? So we need to avoid the battle. And one way that we can start to do this is employ a rule, which I call the 5-second rule. Because the reality is that knowing what you need to do will never be enough, and knowing why you need to do it will also never be enough. This comes down to taking action, okay? And this is called the 5-second rule. So next time you are faced with that decision around food, so you may have two options to pick. You may have three, you may have more. You use the 5-second rule in this moment. So first and foremost, what I want you to do is firstly step into your true self, the part of you that wants you to recover, and ask the question from this part of you. So we're faced with two options. One, which is in line with your eating disorder, and another which is in line with your true self, the recovered part. So you want to step firstly into that part of you and say, what choice would my recovered self choose? So this is a little bit of like going into the future, connecting with this version of yourself who is fully and completely recovered, who has that really healthy relationship around food and actually looks to food for enjoyment and nourishment and all the things it can provide. What would she choose? Number one, step into this part of you. Give this part some power, okay? Then secondly, count from 5 to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then act. Make a decision. And what I say to my clients is that this is a practice, okay? This is a practice to really give this true self part of you some power, and then reduce the opportunity, reduce the possibility of these parts getting into some sort of battle. And you have to take action after those 5 seconds. And for the first couple of times, the outcome may not be what you want it to be, and that's actually okay. But what this is teaching you is being really intentful over a decision around food. And I say to my clients, even if you did, out of those 5 seconds, pick the option which your recovered self would not choose, that is okay. Because what you're doing is setting out a decision with intent and purpose. Okay, and that's powerful. That gives you back some power. Rather than just opting to what feels safe and familiar, you are making a decision over a food choice. Can you see how that feels different? Rather than going, this is all just too much and I can't decide, I just have to stick to what I know. Versus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I pick that with intent and purpose and committing and following through it. It feels very, very different. And this may feel a little bit strange at first, and it may feel like you are not listening as much to your recovered self as your eating disorder, but you have to start making food choices with intent and purpose, and reducing the amount of time for these two parts to get into battle. Because remember, once the battle started, you are less likely to be able to make the healthy choice. I want you to really remind yourself that the longer that battle goes on, the less likely I am going to follow through on what my recovered self wants. And give this a practice, give this a try. So there's 2 parts to this exercise. Number 1 is connect with your true self, the part of you that wants to recover, and ask yourself, what would my recovered self choose? What would she want to eat? In an ideal world where nothing was off limits, I had the best relationship with food in the world and I just wanted it because I fancied it. Step into that part. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take action with intent and purpose and just follow through and commit to whatever that choice was. Okay? And this is weird, this is strange, right? Because we're used to listening to the eating disorder part, which normally guides all of our decisions and behaviors. So this is why I say this is a practice, and it takes time to do this, and that's okay. But remember, to make the healthy choice, you've got to take action on it. Just knowing what you need to be doing and knowing what you should be doing is never going to be enough. It all comes down to action. So count to 5 and do it. Commit. Make a choice. Make a decision. Okay? You'll be surprised how powerful this makes you feel and how much this power this does give you to be able to then influence the rest of your day. So give that a try, the 5-second rule. Let me know how you go, and we'll be back for another Therapy Thursdays next week. Have a good rest of the week, guys. We'll see you very, very soon.